Parents, listen up. If you want your children to have a better relationship with money than many adults do, start teaching them the basics quite early. Gugu Sidaki is making it less tricky after recently releasing a series of books called My Three Piggies. The series follows a little girl named Nala. Gugu is a wealth manager and mom, of course, and she joins us now in studio. Thanks for your time, Gugu. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me why you came up with this idea, firstly.
So I'm a wealth manager, as you expressed, and part of my day job is to teach adults about money. We host a lot of financial literacy sessions for big people, and during those sessions, the adults always say to me, you know, I really wish I'd had this information when I was a lot younger, or would you be able to extend the information to my children if I brought them along? And eventually, I came to the conclusion that we actually have to teach our children about money because it's not happening in schools.
So teaching children about money is something very tricky,
Absolutely,
I'm sure.
absolutely.
How do you break it down so that children actually understand?
You have to tell stories. That's the first and most important thing, and that's how the books are structured. So we're following a little girl called Nala. Nala's my daughter, so the books are named after her. And we follow her through various processes where she gets to, firstly, she's introduced to what money is, where it comes from, and the fact that it's earned, and the fact that she has to do chores in order to make the money, and that she needs to budget. So she needs to look after that money. And once she's done that, then she can start spending as she pleases.
Yeah.
And secondly, you have to live the principles. So as a parent or as a guardian of a child, children need to see you living those principles, good financial principles.
Yeah.
And that's the best way to teach children.
You obviously broke it down into 3 different books, and this one, of course, is called Nala and the Invest Piggy Bank. Use the word invest for many people, including me. It sounds like a daunting task. How do you explain it to children in this book?
Sure. So in very simple terms, investing is your money working for you, so your money making more money. Literally, that's a one-liner.
Yeah.
And then depending on the age of the child, you then have to get into various intricacies about how that's done. Give examples about the various companies that exist in the country, how they're listed on the stock exchange, and how they make money.
Yeah. So lots of parents would give their children money every day or every week and let them do whatever they please with it. But this takes it a step further.
It really does. I encourage parents to not just give money to children willy-nilly. It is important for a child to understand that money is earned and that it's a resource that needs to be looked after. So they need to do something for that money, because ultimately that's how you create great work ethic in children.
Yeah.
So they need to do chores. They need to do age-appropriate chores around the house, and they need to understand exactly how much they're going to be earning for those chores. It needs to be tracked. Both parent or guardian and child need to sit and actually track that money and then plan for it, budget, and make sure that it's spent in a wise way.
Yeah, so the allowance is something that many parents might be getting wrong, the way they give their children an allowance, or spending money, as my parents called it, because they were giving money to go and buy, you know, snacks at school and stuff, sweets, chocolates, cool drinks and stuff like that. So when you give a child, let's say they're 8 years old, an allowance every week, how do you sit them down and say to them, this is how you should be spending your money and here's the end goal?
Yeah, I don't think you need to be too prescriptive when it comes to how they spend their money. I think you need to engage the child, figure out what it is that they want to spend their money on, and then take it from there and then help them plan for that expenditure. So like with my daughter, she loves sweets, so we say to her, okay, I'm no longer buying sweets for you. Can we sit and plan with the money that you get, and then we devise a plan from there.
Yeah, because I used to basically go and ask people for R5 and save toward a toy that I wanted. And this was many years ago, but I remember it so clearly. And I remember I actually put it into practice right now. I save money to buy something.
Absolutely.
And how do you actually encourage parents to get to a point where they teach their children what you see in this book? Because many parents would say, it's too early now. Let them become teenagers, or maybe 21, then we'll have the talk.
Yeah. It's been proven over and over again that children's financial habits are formed at the age of from around 7. So if you think it's too early to teach a child about money, I've got something else to tell you. So the earlier they learn these principles, the better for them, because that's how you ultimately breed financially responsible adults of the future.
Yeah. What's the response been from kids?
Great. I think the pictures are amazing, so that's what children relate to, and the fact that it's a story, and the fact that there's chores and there's various tasks that they get to engage in. There's a crossword puzzle in there in all 3 books, and they're loving it. So the moms are sending the responses and little videos of their children and how they're taken to the books, and it's been great.
Yeah, because I see the one page says this is what her budget looks like now, and it actually has a little pig here so that the kids, it's attractive for kids, right? Because a piggy bank is something that looks like a toy, really.
Absolutely.
And you put money in there to save money from my chores. So she's made her bed, she's watering the garden, and I think she's doing dishes, yeah. So that, of course, is something that we're seeing in the book. So it is quite relative to kids. And where can people actually get a hold of a copy of these books?
There's various places. So we're selling the books online on the website, which is www.my3piggies.com. If parents want to physically buy the books themselves in the store, we're available at 2 stores in Johannesburg, which is Scoobs and in Monte Casino, 4 ways, as well as Book Circle Capital. I need to get that right. Book Circle Capital in Melville.
Yeah.
And then there's also a bookstore in Nelspruit that we're available at. It's called Book Hive.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.